we got some news today. Another connection between Diddy and Obama. Now, I want you guys to know right now, I'm not trying to hit you guys with like a bunch of, clickbait or whatever on this. So I'm going to let you guys know right now, we don't have anything that says that Obama was getting his back broken, no freak offs. That's not what's going on here. But there is another connection. And I think it's important because I've done videos before about how Diddy, like, here's the thing, you guys, a lot of people will tell me, bro, Diddy is just a distraction from Epstein. Don't even talk about it. It's a distraction. Dog, I'm going to tell you right now, my guy, that Diddy had connections with people he had connections with Trump. He had connections with Obama. He had connections with the Clintons. So discounting this case and some of the stuff that's gone on with it and his connections to people in the way uppies, the elites, is doing a disservice to this case, and you're being ignorant of the situation. So, Diddy has interviewed and campaigned for Obama. He's had pictures taken with him, with Trump, and Trump even went as far as to defend him on his reality TV show, The Apprentice, or The Celebrity Apprentice, one or the other. It was one of those. I never really watched that show, but I have seen the clips, and I authenticated it. I made sure that it was real. But Trump said, because one of Diddy's assistants ended up being on there, and Trump was like, is Diddy a good guy? And she was like, no comment. And he goes, well, I'm going to say I think Diddy's a good guy. Clearly, he didn't know him like that. It didn't seem like, but he defended him. So Diddy has high up connections. He's interviewed Hillary Clinton, and he campaigned a bit for Hillary Clinton. So I want you guys to understand he's on some high level shit with the people that he associates with. So finding another Obama connection as seemingly non-Obama, like in the mix as it is weird. It's weird, and I don't really like it much. But we're going to get into this. So I'm going to jump in with a little bit of a video, and I'm going to let you guys actually see what has been said about this. And we're going to jump on that right now. This is going to go through a couple other things that we're going to talk about as well. Just so you know, there's a lot happening here on day 7 of the Diddler trial.
Well, hi there, Judge Ashley. Court has just ended, and I'm just getting word right now that we are hearing that Kid Cudi, who is going to be an important witness in this case, that he possibly is going to take the stand.
You know what? I hadn't even heard that. I hadn't even heard that Kid Cudi was going to be testifying in this case. And I think it's important because Diddy threatened Kid Cudi because Kid Cudi and Cassie were dating maybe, or talking, or maybe just cramming. I don't know the whole context. I'm sure we'll get more into that. But it's very seriously alleged that Diddy threatened Kid Cudi, and then Kid Cudi's car got blown up. So if he's out there blowing up cars, I have a friend whose car in Florida got blown up by some drug dealers that he had ripped off. And it was considered an act of terrorism, domestic terrorism. I'm going to tell you this right now. All these Tesla people that are throwing Molotov cocktails at Teslas and shit, blowing up cars has always been considered an act of terrorism, in the United States. So like it gets treated very seriously. Jordan threw up 2 supers, the same super. I'm not sure if he did it twice intentionally or not, but Jordan, my brother, thank you so much. I love you. What is up? It's great to see you, man. Big love and respect to you, my guy. Hell yeah. Appreciate you, dude. So yeah, Kid Cudi is actually going to be a witness, and I hadn't heard that yet. Bluegill said Diddy's downfall will have a lot of fallout in the entertainment political circles. Seeing justice served will be glorious. Yeah, hey, I'm 100% here for it, man. 1,000% here for that. So
tomorrow. So that's going to be interesting testimony, because this is a situation in which Sean Combs had said that he was jealous and accusing Cassie Ventura of cheating on him with Kid Cudi. So that's a late breaking development that I just received. A lot, Judge Ashley, stood out from testimony today. Right now, when court just ended for the day, Sergeant Gannon, he was on the stand from the Department of Homeland Security. This is the Human Trafficking Division, and he was talking about that raid they did on Sean Diddy Combs.
They're about to get into what they found on the raid. And we have gotten some details on this, but you never know when they find something if it's going to be admissible or not. You really don't know whether it's going to be admissible in court or not. So this is where we're going to get to see what actually made it to the eyes of the jury, which it doesn't really matter what they find on you. If it's not admissible and the jury doesn't get to see it, then it's really pointless. It's a moot point. So now we're going to find out what the jury gets to see, which I think is pretty much most of what they found in that raid, because they did that raid correctly.
Home in Miami. And so he's describing that, how 80 to 90 agents showed up, basically storming Sean Diddy Combs' property. They executed a search warrant. They did so in the afternoon, which they said is not normal, but they did so because they heard Sean Combs was leaving the country on a plane with his family.
Somebody snitched. Somebody snitched. They had somebody on the inside that gave him that information. I guarantee you, because Diddy was going through a private airport and all of that. And they had to, it takes a long time to be able to orchestrate a 90-person raid. Now, think about this, 90 law enforcement officers all in the same place. And that's just the Miami residence. But they simultaneously hit his LA residence at the same time that they hit his Miami residence. So they knew that he was going to try to flee for a while beforehand. So I promise you, someone on the inside was snitching on the Diddler.
So they had an armored vehicle that broke through the gates of Sean Diddy Combs' mansion in Miami out there on Star Island. And then they went in and began the raid. And that's some of the footage, if everyone can remember, when they were bringing out these pallets of baby oil. A lot of people saw those kind of images. Defense counsel, of course, we're not on cross. That will take place tomorrow. But defense counsel, of course, is going to be talking about how really these agents overblew this entire situation, trying to smear Diddy's name before he even had his day in court.
Now, this is the thing that they're pulling a lot lately. Clearly it's going to be news. Clearly people are going to be talking about when a major celebrity has something like this go down. You know what I'm saying? They're doing it. I mean, it's true crime is huge these days. So when like Diddy or Danny Masterson or, all of these people that have these huge cases that are already well known, even Luigi, who was ostensibly a nobody before because of the magnitude of the crime, the media runs amok with it. And then YouTubers like me are also running amok with it. And it's something that I think in society today, we're going to have to get over it, dog. You know what I'm saying? The court of public opinion is going to do what the court of public opinion does. Do your best in jury selection, but this is where we're at as a society. Because of the free flow of communication, you're fucked, dog. Deal with it. It's like tuck it up.
Why don't we go ahead and put up some of the testimony from today? We're going to start with Cassie Ventura's mother. This is Regina Ventura. She referred to her daughter as Cassandra when she was on the stand, and she was testifying that Cassie had emailed her about Combs' sex tape threats. She said that she felt physically sick upon reading an email, and she told the jury that Combs demanded $20,000 from her to recoup money that he had spent on Cassie.
So that's nuts that he wanted 20 grand from Cassie, because isn't this dude supposed to be a billionaire or a super close to it? Like definitely 100 millionaire. Like the dude's got bank. The dude's breaded is the point. So why is he going after Cassie for 20 grand? How does that make sense? Why would he be so desperate that he needs to do that? I don't think that it was about the money is my point. I think it was about narcissistic control. I think it was about him wielding his authority over Cassie and having a reason to threaten to expose her with the tapes that he had. And it's wild. It's wild that she took it to her mom because she was so scared, because she knew he wasn't bluffing. He was dead ass with it. But that's the type of dude that we're dealing with here.
She and her husband took out a home equity loan to wire Sean Diddy Combs the money. We also have some.
Bro, they took out a home equity loan. It's like taking out a mortgage on your house, bro, to pay Diddy off because he's got video of you getting clapped by a male prostitute. and him and that male prostitute pissing in your mouth. And you don't want that getting out. Look, man, so Trump just did a good thing. And I want to give credit to Melania. I know there's probably people who have mixed feelings about Trump in the chat, but if you can't get behind this, I think that you're just being like literally a fucking asshole. You're being a fucking piece of shit if you can't get behind what he did here. He just signed in a bill to make revenge porn, including AI-generated sexual images of people, a federal felony, which, so everybody's like, wasn't that already a thing? It was a thing in the states. There are some states that have it and some states that don't, some states that have caught up on the AI aspect of it and some states that hadn't. You know, I have a video on here where I'm interviewing an SVU detective, a retired SVU detective, who said, you know, he was there for years and he was like, you know, for the longest time, AI child images were not illegal. And he's like, then my state made them illegal. And so some states are still catching up on this, but now it's federal. And also, say I'm in the state of, just say Oregon, and I'm a huge piece of shit. And say that I have like a video that I made with an ex, which I never would. If I ever had anything about an ex, I delete that shit. If I don't fuck with you no more, I delete you from my life. I delete you from my phone. I delete you from my memory. You know what I'm saying? It didn't work out for a reason. I'm moving on. I'm not going to disrespect that person. I'm not going to disrespect myself, and I'm not going to disrespect a future partner by keeping that shit. It's an automatic for me, bro, because I feel like it's a huge fucking L if you're holding on to that type of shit. It makes you a fucking weirdo in my book. I think it's weirdo behavior. But say I did, and then I released that shit from Oregon, and they live in Florida. It's a huge problem to try to get charges pressed when the victim is in one state and the perpetrator's in another state, when it's just state laws. Now it's fucking federal, and it streamlines that process, and the feds have all of the resources to go after you, and the feds can get you and put you in for a super long time. When the feds come at you with shit like that, it's crazy. When the feds come at you, you might not just take that L, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because you rarely win. It takes maybe like Sean Puffy Combs type cash resources to even have a fighting chance, bro. It's that literally that crazy with the feds.
Other testimony that we can put up from today, because of course this is federal court, so we bring it to you via full screen. Also, this is when he's a male escort. He was on the stand. His name is the Punisher, real name Sheree Hayes. He said that he joined these freak-offs about 8 to 12 times. He said they always met at a New York City hotel, sometimes starting at 2:30 a.m., and they wouldn't leave until about 11 a.m. He said that he usually received a message from Ventura planning for the hours in advance. So that's how he would get contacted by them. They would send him text messages, and then, of course, there would be some other calls as well. We also have a few other things that we can put up for you.
I think it's really important, all of this stuff. And I think, so Sean Lively says, yeah, Diddy is going to walk free. My guy, he's not going to walk free. And let me explain why. They might not get him on the RICO. They might not get him on everything, but they've got him on transporting people across state lines for the purposes of prostitution. That charge, like, did you hear what she just said? Like, they have so much evidence. Text messages, receipts, witness testimony from the prostitutes, from the other people that were involved. And that carries 10 years in the feds. So I don't think there's any way Diddy's going home. I think at this point, he's just fighting not to get that life sentence. And that's the reality here. Diddy has money and shit, but he's not beating that the transporting prostitutes charge across state lines.
With the testimony, this is going to be actually the jury makeup. So inside that courtroom, the jury, they have been taking a lot of notes, Judge Ashley, and some reactions. In particular, there was a time when there was some reaction when they asked, this was when his personal assistant was on the stand, and they were asking him about drugs that he had witnessed that Sean Diddy Combs had taken, and he talked about ecstasy, and he said that one of those pills was in the shape of President Obama's face. get some reaction from the juries, as if just to make an acknowledgement as to, oh, that's really interesting. That was in the shape of President Obama's face.
Yeah, it is pretty interesting. I, through some of this same period of time, was still, using some of the times that they're talking about. And I'm not sure what year they're talking about that he was taking Obama shaped ecstasy pills. But I've never heard of Obama shaped ecstasy pills. I used to have sheets of the Jesus Christ acid that had Jesus Christ on him, and he was like ripped, like steroid ripped, and he had laser beams coming out of his eyeballs if you had the whole sheet. I've never heard of Obama ecstasy pills. That's pretty crazy to me. And that's how Obama gets looped back into this, is they had Obama shaped ecstasy pills. Now it's crazy because we've got 5 men of color, 7 white men, 5 women of color, and 1 white woman. So, clearly we've got a predominantly male jury here. 12 men, 6 women, 18 jurors. Now, everybody knows that it's a jury of 12, but they have to have 6 backups for this because they're very likely to lose jurors through this. Whether they get compromised or, if they get pneumonia all of a sudden because Diddy doesn't like the way they look at him. A lot of people around Diddy die of pneumonia. It's an exorbitant amount of people around Diddy that end up dying of pneumonia. And it's been very, very well speculated. And I think rightly so that Diddy has something going on where he's poisoning people and making it look like they are just natural causing it with pneumonia.